Hi everyone, welcome to another Mobility Monday with Fired Up Fitness Live. I'm Lauren Whitfield and today we're working on mobility for runners. So whether you're just a casual runner, you run every once in a while for fun, or well, even if you're run marathons for fun, from anywhere from a casual runner up to training for marathons and beyond, mobility is really important. Specifically, there's a couple motions in our run where mobility is really important. So as that leg comes back, as we lean forward and that leg comes back, so we're kind of doing our run, the back leg comes back. There's extension in the hip, so that we need to have mobility in the hip so that that leg can extend back without requiring us to arch our back or twist the pelvis. So if we have less than ideal mobility in the hip, when we shift our weight forward, that leg comes back, our pelvis has to twist or we have to arch our back in order to be in that position. So that can cause issues either down the chain with the knee and the ankle or in the low back. So we want to make sure we have good extension, good mobility in the hips so that hip can extend where it needs to. And then again, with that lift off, as we propel our foot forward, we need to have good mobility in the ankle for the dorsiflexion so that as we flex our foot, our toes come towards our shin. So dorsiflexion in the ankle and extension in that big toe. So as we shift our weight, we propel our foot forward, we need good mobility in the ankle for dorsiflexion and good mobility in the big toe with extension in the toe, so the toe comes forward. Otherwise, if the ankle or the toe aren't mobile enough, then you'll find your ankle might twist to compensate, which could put pressure on the knee. So again, it travels up the line. If we don't have mobility in the right areas, issues travel up the chain or down the chain. So that's why you want to work on mobility as a runner, so that you can increase the efficiency of your run. So just make the runs easier, but also and quicker. You can increase your speed by having good mobility, but also prevent injuries. So we want to keep those knees healthy, keep the hips healthy, ankles, and everything, so that you can be a runner as long as you want to be a runner. So the 3 exercises we're going to do, we're going to start off working on that ankle dorsiflexion and toe extension. So you will need either a rolled up towel, I'm using a rolled up mat, or a block or anything to put under the toe. So we're going to do the wall calf stretch, but a mobility version, and we're going to get some into that big toe using our mat. So my mat or towel or whatever you've got is on the floor. I'm going to put my toes on the mat. So now I'm getting a little bit of extension in the toe. So as I step forward, my hands are on the wall just to help with some support, and the knee is bent nice and soft. So what you would normally do is this sort of calf stretch against the wall. We're going to get some mobility into the toe and the ankle. So here my ankle is in dorsiflexion, my toe is in extension. So I'm going to get a little deeper into that by bending that front knee and coming a little closer to the wall. Keep that back heel on the floor. So I'm going to come into it and then relax out of it. The heel stays on the floor, toe is extending as I come forward. I might feel a little stretch in the calf, and you can see my ankle is in greater dorsiflexion, greater flexion. So I'm going to come in and out, and we're also feeling a little bit of a stretch in the calf, but we're not holding. This is for mobility, so we're trying to get a little deeper each time we come in and come out. And my leg is straight, so I'm not bending at that back knee. I'm just coming in and out. So with my toe raised up on the mat, I'm getting that extension in the toe and then the dorsiflexion in the ankle. All right, so then you would switch sides. Same thing on the other side. Next, we're going to be getting a little deeper into ankle mobility while also getting into the knees and the hips. So this is called a squat stand. It can be quite intense. If you have any knee pain, knee issues, you might want something like a stool or a foam roller or anything behind you, just to kind of, so you're not coming as deep, not putting as much pressure on the knees. Anyway, start off, feet are a bit wider than hip width apart. We're gonna bend forward, so hinge at the hips, bend forward. You're gonna grab underneath the front feet. So my knees are bending if you need to, depending on your hip or your hamstring flexibility. I'm grabbing onto my feet, my hands come underneath my front toes. From here, I'm bending the knees and coming into a really deep squat, pulling onto the toes. So that gives me a little bit of leverage if you feel like you're gonna fall back and you just can't do it. So my knees are bent, I'm holding on to the toes, and then I'm gonna straighten the knees and let the pressure off. Come down again. So my arms are on the inside of my knee. I'm kind of pressing my knees open with the back of my arms, and then stand up. So you're coming deep into this squat, hips come down, and then standing up. Depending on your knee and hip mobility here, you may not be able to come as deep. If you feel any pain in the knee, then you can start by having a stool behind you. So when I come into this squat, my hips, my bum can rest here, and then I can stand up and come down, and then just work at getting deeper and deeper into that squat. It's a really good position to learn how to feel comfortable in, especially if you have knee or hip issues. Getting into that end range of flexion in the knees and the hips is really beneficial for injury prevention and just mobility in general as we age. So that's squat stands. So you can modify as needed for that. The last one we've done before, it's called the world's greatest stretch, and that's not a mistake because it is the world's greatest stretch. We're getting into a bit more mobility into the hip for that hip extension, and then also into the thoracic spine, a little bit into the shoulders, which helps with posture while we're running. So you're gonna come into that deep lunge. So my right foot's forward, my left leg's back, my knee is off the ground. So, whoops, I'll show you from the side. So I'm into this nice deep lunge. So from here, you should be able to feel a stretch into that hip flexor already. Squeeze that glute to help get even more of a stretch in that hip flexor. So my hands are on the inside of that front foot, inside the knee. From here, I'm going to bring my right arm, and I'm twisting through, belly button comes through, chest and shoulders come through, arm comes up. Keep extending that back foot back into that back deep lunge, right? So I'm opening up and then coming down, and then opening up and then coming down. All right, so that's getting into both hips, that hip flexor of the leg that's behind, and into the inner and outer thigh of that front leg. All right, so then the same thing on the other side. From here, pushing that heel back, leg is as straight as possible. I'm trying to push that back of that knee towards the ceiling. And then I'm opening up this way. All right, so those 3 exercises will help to gain mobility in the areas that are really important specifically for runners. Benefits everyone, but if you're an avid runner or want to be, include these in your weekly routine. All right, well, that's all I have for today. If you have any questions, message below or send me a private message. I'm always here to help. And I'll see you next time on Mobility Monday. Thanks so much. Bye.